Bills Mafia, what's going on? Before we get started today, let me remind you of something this organization has been preaching nonstop. Your Buffalo Bills are working every single day to improve. Every move this offseason has one goal: bringing better results, building a more complete roster, and getting this team back into Super Bowl contention. And if you're fired up about that mission, do me a quick favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments. It helps every member of Bills Mafia stay connected. And just a quick reminder, for anyone looking for official Bills gear, whether it's a Josh Allen jersey, hoodies, hats, or new releases, I left the link to the official Fanatics store in the description and comment. It updates every day with fresh items, and grabbing your gear through that link also helps support the channel. Now let's dive into today's massive two-part story, one on defense and one very personal for the future of this offense. Because Bills fans, the NFL Combine brought some noise, real noise, and the Buffalo Bills were right in the middle of it. Most of the talk this offseason has been about wide receiver, and it's deserved. The Bills still don't have a true wide receiver one, and free agency plus the draft are going to be critical. But while everyone was focused on offense, NFL insider Albert Breer shook things up with one of the biggest defensive rumors of Combine Week. All-pro pass rusher Max Crosby could be traded, and the Bills are one of the teams on the radar. Let's break this down because it is massive. Crosby has spent 7 seasons with the Raiders. He's the heartbeat of their defense, one of the most violent, relentless, high-motor edge rushers in the league. And whenever a guy like that becomes available, teams listen. And Bills fans, Buffalo has a very real need here. Joey Bosa, A.J. Epinesa, both could walk in free agency, and the Bills can't walk into 2026 without a legitimate game-changing edge rusher. That's why Breer mentioning the Bills is not surprising, and honestly, it's logical. Why is Crosby suddenly a trade possibility? This is where the drama comes in. Late last season, the Raiders placed Crosby on injured reserve for the final 2 games. They cited a knee issue, but Crosby wasn't happy at all. He wanted to play. Reports surfaced that he felt the team was protecting its draft position more than protecting his health. And when that kind of tension happens during a rebuild, star players start evaluating their future. With the Raiders heading into another reset, Crosby could be looking for an organization committed to winning immediately. Buffalo fits that description, but there are 2 enormous obstacles: money and draft capital. The contract factor. Crosby signed a 3-year, $106.5 million extension last year. In 2026, he carries a cap hit of $35.79 million. That number alone would make Brandon Beane sweat, and right now, the Bills are already over the cap. Adding Crosby would require aggressive restructures, likely multiple veteran adjustments, and some truly creative accounting. Beane has pulled off cap magic before, but this would be one of his biggest challenges yet. The trade cost. The Raiders won't give Crosby away. No chance. A 2026 first-round pick would be the minimum starting point. You'd be probably looking at a first, a second or third, possibly a player. That's a blockbuster. Could the Bills do it? Yes. Should they? That's the real question. The consequences. Adding Crosby would instantly transform Buffalo's defense. It would make them legitimate AFC favorites. But it would also limit how much the Bills can do at wide receiver. They'd likely still get someone in free agency, but not a top-tier option. And in the draft, losing a first-rounder means losing the chance at a high-end rookie wide receiver. This is the crossroads. Do you help Josh Allen by giving him elite receivers, or do you help him by giving him one of the best defensive ends in football? This is why the Bills must think carefully, and believe me, they are. While the Max Crosby rumors were swirling, the Bills made headlines again, this time because of something head coach Joe Brady said at the NFL Combine, and Bills fans, this was big. The truth is simple. The Bills have a Keon Coleman problem. Coleman, heading into his 3rd year, just hasn't lived up to expectations. He came in with hype. Fans saw him as a potential star. But instead of a breakout, we got disciplinary issues, inconsistent effort, multiple healthy scratches, and a season where Week 1 was his high point. He was supposed to rise. Instead, he stalled hard. And yet, Joe Brady won't give up on him. Joe Brady doubled down in a big way. At the Combine, Joe Brady didn't just defend Coleman, he claimed him. "I stood on the table for Keon Coleman," Brady said. He told Coleman, "The best thing that happened to you is me being your head coach." That is not a casual comment. That is not coach speak. That is a man putting his reputation on the line. Brady went even further, admitting, "I was the one that wanted him, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it work." That's stunning, considering what we heard after Sean McDermott was fired, that McDermott pushed for drafting Coleman and Beane never wanted him. Now Brady is saying the opposite. The truth? Somewhere in the middle, probably. But here's what matters. Brady is tying himself to Coleman. This changes everything. This isn't just about a young receiver anymore. This is about a first-year head coach staking his credibility, a locker room watching closely, a quarterback who needs reliable weapons now, and a fan base tired of waiting for potential. If Coleman blossoms, Brady becomes the coach who unlocked a young talent. If he fails, Brady's evaluation skills will be questioned immediately. And let's be honest, Coleman is out of excuses. The leash is short, the time is now, and if he has another disappointing season, there is no way the Bills run this conversation back again next offseason. This is make or break for Coleman and for the coach who believes in him. Now, we already know the Bills enter this offseason with a long list of needs: wide receiver, defensive line, offensive tackle, depth at safety, but there's one spot that often gets overlooked, even though it's absolutely critical in Jim Leonhard's new 3-4 system: inside linebacker. With Matt Milano and Sean Thompson hitting free agency, it leaves a gaping hole next to Terrell Bernard. And financially, the Bills can't afford big-name fixes everywhere. They don't have the cap space to stack expensive veterans at every position. That's where the solution already on the roster comes in. Enter Dorian Williams, the 2023 third-round pick who has been quietly developing behind the scenes for 3 seasons, a player who flashed whenever he was given snaps, and a player whose time, finally, has arrived. Williams' journey hasn't been easy. Under former head coach Sean McDermott, linebacker snaps were hard to earn. The scheme required precision, veteran experience, and a deep understanding of the defense, and with Milano, Bernard, and others ahead of him, Williams found himself trapped on the rotational line. But here's the thing. Every time he actually got on the field, he showed something.
His tackling stood out immediately. His speed jumped off the film. He was raw, yes, but he was explosive and fearless. And during the first 5 weeks of his second season, he led the entire NFL in tackles. Think about that. A second-year linebacker with limited preparation, stepping into a starting role because of injuries and outperforming everyone at his position in tackling production. That doesn't happen by accident. That doesn't happen unless you have real talent. He eventually lost snaps once Milano returned, but Williams still finished with an impressive 117 tackles that year, despite fewer starts than most full-time linebackers. Then came 2025, a strange, inconsistent season where he played in 16 games, started 9, and saw just 44.2% of defensive snaps. He wasn't bad, he wasn't benched for poor performance, he was simply squeezed by scheme, veterans, and the coaching staff's preferences. But all of that changes now, completely. Jim Leonhardt's arrival brings not just a new face, but a new vision for this defense. His 3-4 system puts a premium on athletic inside linebackers who can fly downhill, attack gaps, and still move well enough in coverage to survive mismatches. That's exactly where Dorian Williams thrives. He's 6'2", 230, runs a 4.49 40, and plays with a blend of speed and aggression that made him one of the most intriguing linebacker prospects in the 2023 draft. When the Bills selected him, the idea was clear. He was a modern defender built for a modern NFL. And now, he finally gets to prove whether that vision was right. Because the Bills' roster and cap situation make this simple. It's time to make Williams a full-time starter. Yes, the team should still bring in competition. They should absolutely add another linebacker in the draft, especially in a class loaded with talent like Sonny Styles, C.J. Allen, Jacob Rodriguez, Jake Golday, and Kyle Lewis. You don't want to rely on only 2 linebackers in a system built on inside duo chemistry. But the foundation piece next to Bernard needs to be a player who can grow, who already understands the building, and who still has upside. That's Williams. There's also a timing element that can't be ignored. Williams is entering the final year of his rookie contract, a cost-effective season for a team fighting the salary cap. If he pops in 2026, he becomes either a long-term piece of the defense or a player who earns a big contract elsewhere, giving the Bills potential comp pick value. Either way, the Bills benefit. But here's the twist. There's risk. Real risk. Bernard has had injury issues. Williams has never carried a full-time load for an entire season. And if he balls out, he could price himself out of Buffalo's future. That's why this year is so important, not just for the roster, but for team planning beyond 2026. This is the year the Bills must find out exactly what they have. And the truth is this: they should trust him. They should give him the keys. They should let him sink or swim in a scheme designed for his strengths. Because Williams isn't just a depth piece, he's a player with legitimate starting potential, elite physical tools, and a track record of performing when his number is called. He's 25 years old. He's entering his physical prime. He's in a system that finally fits him, and for the first time in his career, the opportunity is right in front of him. There are no veterans blocking his path, no scheme issues holding him back, no excuses, just a player, a team, and a moment. And Bills Mafia, this moment is huge. We've got two major storylines pulling the Bills in different directions. A potential blockbuster trade that could bring in Max Crosby and instantly elevate the defense, but at a massive price. A head coach doubling down on Keon Coleman, believing he can still become the player Buffalo expected when they drafted him. Both decisions will shape the future of this team. Both decisions carry real risk. Both decisions impact Josh Allen's window. So now I want to hear from you. Should the Bills go all in and trade for Max Crosby? And what's your confidence level in Keon Coleman actually turning things around? Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading every comment. And before you go, don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a second of our Bills coverage. And don't forget, the official Bills store link is down below if you want to check out the newest gear. Thanks for watching, Bills Mafia. And as always, go Bills.